All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Bloom Into You, episode 4.
All
Koito
right.
had to give her honest and vulnerable opinion on Nanami and why exactly she believes in her.
Yeah,
Because she does.
she does.
A lot.
Quite a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We
Nobody special.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody special. We know exactly why each
that
of
means,
yeah,
yeah.
what that meant to both of them
Right.
and why specifically Nanami so instantly fell for her. Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. Love it.
And now, while love might be out of reach because, well, there's still a little bit of a desire difference here and dissonance going on,
Yes.
they're going to be spending a lot more time together because
They will be.
Koito's joining the student council.
Mm-hmm.
She made
Yep.
the decision.
All right.
She got up there and made her speech, and it's happening. That was quite a surprise for Nanami. And now...
Pleasant one.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this now. Hey.
I wonder why.
会長夫婦
Ah!
誰が夫婦だ。
どっちが夫
Ha,
そりゃ七海じゃね
ha, ha, ha.
るつもり？手伝ってくれる？
Always.
トークの望みな
Yeah.
ら喜んで。
Mm-hmm.
Just say as you
Yeah.
wish. Like,
Yeah.
暦、板書消していいか？
No.
黒板見てなかった。なんだよ。
Gotta learn the
じゃあ一生
phone
懸命
picture
何
trick.
書いてたの？
For fan of fiction. No, just-
or a love letter.
じゃあな、あかり、元気そうだね。トイトさん。
Literally turning heads.
わざわざ迎えに来てくれなくても早く顔が見たくてね。
Mm.
先輩。
Mm?
何？近いです。そう？近くで。誤解されたら困るでしょ。
I mean,
憧れの七海先
I
輩
kind
と
of
して
would,
は。
but
誤解ではない気もするけど。いや誤解ですよ。わかった。
okay.
Right. 6 inches to the left, yeah.
こんにちはっす
一年の堂島くん。
Dojima, off!
Okay.
We need to protect this one.
Yep. He's got
Gotta
any
make
children
future.
he might not have.
Yep.
中学の部活の先輩なんす
高校では入らないの？
いやー、俺弱っちいんで生徒会って内申点美味しそうだし
Ah.
That's fair.
この子仕事できるの？なんだから大丈夫なんじゃない？だから心配なのよ。
これ優秀だと楽できていいな
周りにできる人材を集めるのに長けていたとも言える。自分から来てくれたんだし。
Yeah, he wants to be here.
生徒会長の七海東子。
Less cats to herd.
副会長の佐伯さやかです。生徒会を運営していくことになります。行事の時は結構ハードだから覚悟しておいて。
Okay.
でも一番大きな行事といえば。
Culture festival?
文化祭？そうです。生徒たちが全力で楽しめるように場所や時間を割り当てたり。
地味っすね
Yep.
大事な仕事よ。今年は裏方だけじゃなくてやりたいことがあるの。生徒会劇の復活。
Oh.
劇の復活。
Okay.
うちの学校って演劇部がないでしょ。手芸部とか美術部とかいくつか
Ah.
の部が共同で
Right, so that they could make costumes, yeah.
背景とかあるから自分たちの活動も活かせるんじゃないかって。役者が足りなくて。
But we would
Unless
be the
you're
actors,
proposing
I'm
that-
guessing.
Yeah.
それ以降毎年恒例の伝統になってたんだけど、
Okay.
7年前だっけ。そこから途切れたみたいで。
It's a pretty old tradition to bring back.
俺はやってみたいっす
本当？
本来の仕事だけでも忙しそうですし
Yeah, why are we adding on all this extra stuff?
なんて思ってません。文化祭まで時間もあるし考えて。
I'll win you all over eventually.
Yeah.
劇をやるやらないは置いといて、生徒会としてはそれぞれのファイルに分けてもらいたいの。生徒会室で保管するから、それは別にしておいて。
Is she giving her tons of hard work specifically? Or they, oh no, they're all doing it. Okay.
小
Yeah.
糸さんってさ
そんなことないけど。
So why'd you join?
Your speech.
応援
Yeah, yeah.
役員になりますとか言うからすげえやる気あるなって
そ その場の勢いというか、その手伝いから成り行きで役員になっちゃっただけだよ。
僕は中学でも生徒会だったから、高校の時はスポーツもやってたんだけど、どうも自分が活躍しようと努力するより
Aww.
人に合っ
So
てる
no
みたい
wonder
で
he'd be hesitant to get on stage.
お前はマネージャーか。
生徒会向きかもね。
劇も自分が出るのはちょっと、裏方なら喜んでやりますけど。
お、昔の台本。
Ooh.
そんなところにも挟まってたのね。残ってたのトークが見つけて復活させたいって話を二人でしてたの。伝統だったのに。なん
Nanami Mio.
で7年前で途切れちゃったんだろう。
Maybe family?
Yeah.
今は仕事中だよ。
Putting something in front of the face almost like a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, what's up?
なんとかここまで来た。
Ugh.
もうこんな時間。
ギリギリまでありがとう。私はもうちょっと仕様でパソコンを使っていくけど。
僕もお先に失礼します。
じゃあ私もお
Stay.
先に失礼します。
The stare.
The like the but what if you did stay?
じゃあ私もパソコン借りようかな。何するんですか？
Alone. The student council room.
小糸さん
It's been a while since that day.
Yep.
私家に自分の持ってるもん。
As the sun gets low in the
私も
sky.
別に用ないです。
君って本当
流されやすい。
優しい。
Hmm.
ねえ、ユウ。
ん
キスしたい。
結局そういうことしたいんですか？
Hmm.
前みたいな不意打ちはもうしないから。
言い訳臭い。言ってることコロコロ変わって。生徒会長がそんなことでいいんですか？
Oh.
Yeah, hold your ground. Yeah.
変わるよそんなの。ユウがいつも許してくれるから欲しくなっちゃう。
Ooh.
ユウのせいだよ。
私も変わりたい。
Oh, yeah.
なんでもないです。
No, talk about it. Come on.
いいですよ。しても別に嫌なわけじゃないですし、興味がないって言ったら嘘だし。
Okay.
何それ
Alright.。
キスしたいとか。ユウ、
偉い。バカ言ってるとさせませんよ。
する。
まつげ長いな。
Wait.
One of the boys.
Oh, right.
誰か筆箱忘れてる。
Ah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he came back to check.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be Sayaka,
Okay.
and just happenstance coincidence. All right.
昨日生徒会室にあったんだけど。
生徒会室に忘れてたのか。昨日何してたの？七海先輩と二人でパソコン使って何してたのかな？
Because she doesn't have an answer because.
中間テストの範囲教えてもらったり。
僕も聞きたい。
Oh, come on, man.
戻るね。
That's just being mean.
じゃあ放課後。
If you're gonna do this, just be like, hey, by the way, I came back to get my thing, and I saw you.
Hey, support from behind the scenes, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's gonna be like the wingman.
変わりませんから。
絵付けもダメか。ちょっとした役でもいいから始めちゃえば楽しいと思うけど。
人前とか嫌なんです。先輩たちは平気なんですか？
I mean, we wouldn't have gotten into our positions if we weren't.
トークだって平気でしょ？
主役だって期待してくれて構わないよ。
何言ってるの先輩。表向きは完璧にやってみせたけど、
Yeah.
緊張してたくせに。
Shaking.
今度はわざわざ劇なんて。
She'll be the lead role, but she would sure love it if you would be
演技す
the
るのは慣れてるのかもし
the
れ
other
ない
lead
けど、
role.
なんでそこまで劇やりたいんですか？
人としてやれる文化祭は一回何か面白いことをやりたいじゃない？
Yeah, otherwise I'm just doing that. But also it helps build up the image of me being amazing.
だから言ってる。
And Maki's just like, I
人
ship
前に
it.
出るのとか嫌いなんです。
The smug smile.
マーキってば美人の先輩が2人もいて美味しいじゃん。
Oh.
Sure.
マキはナナミ派佐伯派意外なところで恋と
It wasn't even considering.
いやいや、
どういうのがタイプ？
言われてもな。そういうのないよ、僕は。
Oh.
ちょっとこの辺。
Ah,
Very similar to Koito.
okay. Oh wait, what if he
マキ
asks?
も反対派？
ぜひそうしたいですね。
生徒会の仕事じゃないから今日2人も反対とは。
断固反対ってわけじゃないですけど、
トークがあれだけ説得してるのに。
小糸さんのことすごく気に入ってますよね。
The pause. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
元から知り合いとかじゃないんですよね。
どこをそんなに気に入ったんでしょうね。
いい人じゃないですか。
そうね。
Constantly turning away so that he can't see her face, among other things.
きっと後輩ができたのが嬉しくて浮かれてるだけで、そのうち落ち着くでしょ。
Oh, Maki, I'm starting to not like you.
私もコピー取りに行くから一緒に行こう。
Hmm.
劇は阻止しようね。
そんなに嫌なんだ。もう美術部とかの部活には
Wow.
前から準備してたみたいだし。
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't an idea. She's...
ななみ先輩がやるって言ったらやるんだろうな。
よくわかってるんだ。
それなりに仲はいいと思うけど、1ヶ月とかだし。
ふーん。
Oh, here it comes. Yep.
小糸さんと七海先輩って昨日見ちゃったんだ。
Oh, okay. Apologizing.
見られた。
Being open about it. But yeah, that's
Oh.
terrifying for her because she like it was the
もし広まって
like the slightest inkling of like, wait, maybe this is something I could be into, and now it's like, bam.
Yeah.
そうだったんだ。彼女だから応援演説させ。
Oh, the
小
fear.
糸さん、見たからって僕は別に。
マキ君、ななみ先輩には言わないで。
君がそう言うならそうするけど。
考えなきゃいけないこともたくさんあるし、怖い思いさせたくない。
最初にする心配がそれなんだ。
Yeah,
人
I'm
の恋っ
getting
て
this could totally be fine, but there are those slight little things.
女の子の相談相手になることが多い。
Okay.
面倒とは思わない。恋の話が好きだから次から次へとやってくる。
I think it's just that he's...
話聞いてもらっているうちに、マキ君のことが。
But that's not...
役者が観客に恋するなんて、ただ舞台の上の物語を見ていたい。見つけた。新しい物語、秘密の演目、一番近くで見ていたい。
Okay.
That could be totally harmless.
大事に
Yeah.
見守らなきゃ。
Okay.
All right.
先輩には何も言わない。他の誰かに言いふらしたりもしないよ。約束する。
信じるよ。わざわざ教えてくれたんだしね。
もうちょっと周りに気をつけてね。
先輩とは付き合ってるとかじゃないからね。
Hi, hi. Yeah, yeah.
七海先輩が一方的に君のこと、
Ah.
ちゃんと七海先輩のこと、
Mhm.
好きなんだね。
Wow.
So maybe this is the person that she can talk about
自
it
分より先輩の
with.
心配ばっかして、七海先輩のこと。
Special?
僕好き
Ah!
だな。
好きって。
Is that what that means?
Yeah. Wait.
小糸さんも照れたりするんだ。
だってこれは
Because she's so far in the closet that like.
This is just normal, yeah.
普通だよ。
Cool.
Okay. I like that the happenstance thing of someone seeing them is actually progressing the plot because it's
Right.
like even if it ends up going in a negative direction later, which I'm starting to think it won't, even though there's still the possibility,
Yeah.
it's someone that can be a sounding board for Koito to then make her realize like, oh, wait. Oh, shoot. That's actually how it looks from the outside, you know,
Right.
rather than all the shoulds she's putting on it herself.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Yep,
Got
I
us
like
a little
it.
bit more focus on the boys this episode. Dojima and Maki.
Right.
Dojima is basically there to be the bumblefuck that kind of just, you know, knocks things around and just
Yep,
makes things,
he's there.
kind of happen. But he looks like your stereotypical isekai protagonist, just basic boy,
Yep.
general straight man for this whole thing. Maki's a bit complicated, though.
Maki's a bit complicated.
And I like this because Maki, as a character, is one that you could very much just kind of write off as like he's the guy that people are going to confide in because he's not as stereotypically masculine or intimidating
Yeah.
or anything like that. No.
Right.
No. He actually wants to hear these stories. He enjoys hearing this kind of stuff because in a lot of ways, it's safer. He doesn't have to get invested.
Sure.
There's a lot of this where
Yeah.
he just likes to just kind of be like, I'm just eating popcorn from the sideline here.
Right.
Which I think a lot of people tend to be like that. But the thing is that he's also wanting to actively seek out the stories themselves rather than just being like, oh, a story's over there. I will,
people
watch
watch,
over
yeah.
it as it's going on here. And yet, because it's a new special story right now, he's protective of it and wants to keep it going the way
Yep.
it is. But it's a selfish reason. It's not one for their benefit. It's
Right.
one where he wants this to continue for his own special viewing pleasure. Now, if it stops being special, if it stops being new, if
Uh-huh.
it goes in any kind of direction there, who knows what he's going to
Yes.
do.
And there's a few ideas in my head of like where I thought this was gonna go, where maybe this could go from here, because this is a very intentional choice. You don't
Yes.
just I believe it's a one-course show. I don't know if it continues past it, right?
It
If it's
probably
just,
will.
It probably will.
Yeah.
But to effectively introduce another character here,
Yeah.
that's a pretty big deal. Normally here, I would expect it to be a point of conflict that then will, after some melodrama, push the two main characters closer together. But they framed it as a character introduction more so than just a drama point, because
Yep.
we actually got to know Maki's
he is.
motivations and who he is.
Yeah.
But like, then what's the purpose of this? Is this just to have a second character? Is it to give Koito like a sounding board, or is it like to get into
It's a full other character.
Right, it's a
The
full other
student
character.
council is the main focus of the story, and thus we need to know all the characters on the student council properly and seeing them interact independent of Nanami and Koito.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one fear that I kind of have is that because he's basically getting his own enjoyment from watching it, that it could get into maybe some angle of like the way in which maybe non-straight relationships, at least in fiction, will be kind of fetishized for like the enjoyment of the audience. But again, I don't think that's what it would be with him necessarily, because like he just likes to watch romance in general, and that might just be because, like you were saying, him not being fully, secure in the idea of romance. So if he can watch other people, great.
Well, because when the girl in his past confessed to him of, hey, after spending all this time with you, now I actually like you. And he's like, nope, that's not the way this goes. There's a lot of ways in which he's similar to Koito in that regard, because he doesn't want other people to see him as special. He wants to be hidden. He wants to be
Right.
obscured and be, in a lot of ways, safe in that regard. But the thing that I would say that makes them very similar, but also kind of different, is that while Maki, I would say, is a little bit more understanding of where he is in this whole situation, Koito doesn't understand in a lot of where she is in this situation, because she doesn't really know
Sure.
what love is. She
Yeah.
doesn't really know what that feels like. Now, Maki's experiences with it are all by
Like second
indirection
person, yeah.
and second person and stuff like that, but that's still a lot more than
Koito.
Koito can claim for. So
Yes.
he's able to look at this and immediately go, oh, that's love.
Right.
And she's like, what, it is?
Yeah.
It is?
Uh-huh. He's like, well, yeah.
Like, it is? Like,
Right.
it's a really sweet thing, because from Koito's perspective, she doesn't know really what she feels about all this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how helpful that would be to have someone, granted, ideally someone that you actively choose to have be this person.
Yes.
Whereas in the
So you
case
can
of
trust
Maki,
them fully.
so you can trust them fully. Whereas in the case of Maki, it was the ultimate disaster for Koito, because it's the
She was terrified.
she was terrified, because of course she is. This whole episode was making me think of in a lot of ways, this show, of the Pride and Prejudice line of there are a few of us who are really secure enough to be in love without proper encouragement, right? Like, she's like, I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
right? Like, okay, I'll dip my toe in the water and see how I like it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, oh, I saw you. Wait, what?
Oh god, my whole world's spiraling. I'm terrified now. All this is going to feed back in a way that's not just going to, be a source of ridicule for me, but then also for Nanami.
Yep.
Shit, I don't want any of this to go back to Nanami. That's because you love and care about her. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
there's a difference between loving at someone because you care about them versus being in romantic love, or even in a lot of ways sexual love with somebody. So the idea that this is the exploration of all the kinds of little ways in which they show love to each other. For instance, Nanami confronting Koito and being like, "You're kind," and it's the like, "Oh, well, yeah, she is." That's a deference. That's a form of showing love to somebody,
Right.
because you want to make their life and their existence a little bit easier. You want
Right.
to do what you can for them. That is also part of the charm and magnetism of Nanami, to be able to get people to want to be kind to her.
Yes, absolutely.
Which, we'll get into that probably at some point down the line, as to Nanami's fatal flaw of assuming that everybody is eventually going to succumb to her will.
And that's why I really liked the fact that in a couple of different ways in this episode, Koito was specifically like like standing up to her and not backing down to her and being like, no, this is what I want, you know?
Right. That's good boundaries.
It's
but
good
it's
boundaries.
also fun that Nanami doesn't get that so often, that when it happened in the midst of the kiss with the context of, oh, that's kind of hot. Like, that was something where I was like, oh, shoot, there's some whole things we could go into with that there. The idea that Nanami is, like, very much used to the idea of, like, oh, she's probably been with, like, quite a few relationships and stuff like that. But now it's the, no one's special. You know, no one's special. And then it's the, wait, you. Oh, and you also don't just immediately fold in any way.
Right,
like,
yeah, because she's so used to being the person that's special to so many people that it's like, oh, wait, actually, you know, pursuing someone. You know,
Yeah,
it's like that feels good.
Yeah.
Like,
and then it's the, I mean, it's not just it's not pursuit. I hate the word, but it's the idea that she's like, no, I'm actually like not in love with you, but like, yeah, if you want to do that, I mean, it's not like I'm disinterested. That would be a lie.
Right.
She's like, oh, that's kind of hot. And I'm like, oh, well, all right then. Yeah, we could get into your psychology a bit, not me. Oh boy.
But I love the idea that it's very much with Maki, he's calling out the idea that, oh, okay, you love each other. Whether or not that has to mean anything romantic is a great point, right? Mm-hmm. And so then the whole moment in the student council room, that's essentially Koito then toying with the idea of, but what if, you know, romance or at the very least physical affection were to be layered on top of that? Is that something that could work? Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited to see this story continue Koito's exploration of the idea of what is it that I want, what am I attracted to, all of that stuff. I think that's great.
Yeah, and I just hope for safe boundaries and really good people involved in the environment here, given that we already have now two people that are kind of in the know, but they have different kind of motivations here, and yet at a drop of a dime or a hat or what have you, it could turn sour and nasty really quickly. So.
Oh, yeah. And it could that could definitely happen, and I absolutely understand why Koito is like, I'm not going to tell Nanami about this because I don't want to freak her out.
Nope.
At the same time, though, that would probably be exactly the kind of thing you'd want to tell Nanami about, because then you can talk about that together because you're both in this situation together.
Yeah,
right?
but that's the other thing. They're not in a relationship.
No.
So,
but it's something that would affect the both of them, and I think she would be able to get a much more reasonable, neutral response from Nanami, unbiased response from Nanami, rather than a lot of the situations where Nanami's like, hey, I'm attracted to you, I really like you, you know, so, you know, like, can, you know, all right, okay, you know, I'll give you puppy dog eyes as you're about to leave, you know, the student council room and things like that. As opposed to the, hey, I don't think he's going to tell anybody, but he saw us.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things where not telling Nanami is kind of a good thing here.
Oh, yeah.
I think Nanami is a bit too possessive and heavy-handed, and she would turn on the like intimidation charm here.
Oh,
and I don't think that would work on Maki.
No, it definitely wouldn't. If that would, I 100% agree that would be her first instinct. Hopefully, Koito would be able to be like, no, don't do that.
But that's the problem.
He told me of his own free will and all that.
Koito tells Nanami what to do, and Nanami doesn't really acknowledge that. That's the whole point. Is that Nanami's fatal flaw is that she primarily thinks about herself, and thus doesn't really see the input as anything more than like, well, that's just a minor obstacle that we'll get through until you see how what I want is the right way and the best way. And I am thinking the most about all of you in this, and that's all I'm going to say about that. The other thing this episode that we noticed very, very lightly here, I thought that was very, very subtle in the way that they did this here. They showed us a list of names of a previous script here, and I think we saw a name.
Yeah, Nanami Mio at the
top
very top
name.
of the cast. Okay, all right.
We see you.
Now
this
was from 9 years ago. So
7 years ago.
Or 7 years ago, right? So it wouldn't be a parent, but older sibling?
Older sibling. Also, just to bring it up here, that's a good point. Just because the last one was 7 years ago, this doesn't mean it was the last play. 7 years ago is when they stopped holding it.
Oh,
but it's just the thing of
great
where
point. So it's at least 7 years ago.
At least 7 years ago.
Great,
exactly.
great point. Great point.
So it could even be the mom.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
It very much does not have to be a sibling.
And I will say, with the archetype that Nanami adheres to.
Yes. So
It is very important to get to know the parents of said character, because that usually dictates a lot of why they are the way that they are. Because like that happens with all characters, right? But if you have a character this extreme, right, then what kind of upbringing did they have?
I think there's a very, very high potential that it's the mom. Mm-hmm. But that would be a bit longer than 7 years, so maybe it is the sister.
And yet at the same time, since we know that Nanami was very, ordinary at the beginning, right? And then she sort of like changed herself and all that stuff, had this reimagining.
Right. Actually,
maybe
that's a
it's
good...
not that big of a deal.
Well,
right?
maybe it's not that big of a deal, but that's actually a really good point. Was that the episode, the one she talks about her being normal and all that? Mm-hmm. Was that one where we see that there was a very clear, like...
She would hide behind the mom and all that?
Yeah. My grades were below average. Or no, my grades were average. I didn't have any friends with scaredy cat and always hide behind someone else. Yeah,
okay.
So
if
there's
that's
very
a mom,
clearly a mom or an older sister. Yeah.
But like jeans and plaid flannel, that looks fairly normal and not what I would stereotypically assume from like the, Ice Princess, long black
that she would have a high octane.
Yeah, like high status,
no nonsense.
Very,
Yeah. So I think that that's also because we're out in the country more.
Sure.
We're not in that kind of environment. This is a small school for a
right. It's not some
town
big city kind of deal. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a great point.
But okay.
All right.
Good setup here for Koito to figure out what do you want normal to look like.
My personal hope for Maki is that it's the end result after we like see it in a bit more detail is that it really is that similar situation to Koito where like the whole do you have a type? It's like no, I don't have a type. Is that it's just I really am not into romance for myself, but I like the idea of it, But it's just it's not for me.
Yeah, he's more aromantic or
asexual or yeah.
But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out my Baldur's Gate 3 Let's Play on Twitch, and if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.